Hey, Coach, Matt Weaver, 247 Sports, Peegs.com. I guess first question, what made this an attractive option? What was it about what Coach Allen sold you on that made you want to come here?
Well, I mean, besides the obvious, I've run into Coach Allen quite a bit, and I know people that know him, and I've been doing this a long time, and you kind of get to a point in your career where you want to work with quality people, high quality people, and he's absolutely that. So that was a big pull for me. I mean, obviously I love the Big Ten, but that's not, paramount. But working for Coach Allen's huge for me.
All right, Pete, on your left, and then Sam.
Hey, Coach, Pete DePremio, IU Athletics. I'm curious, what in your standpoint or viewpoint creates good offensive line play? Obviously, you got talent, but is it communication? Is it what always goes involved in that?
Yeah, I think when you start from the very beginning, you got to find out, okay, well, who do we have? Who are our players? What can we do? What are the things that they're going to be able to do well? I mean, how are they built? What do we have here right now that would allow us to do certain schemes well, right? Once you figure those things out, then I do think it's a huge, working together. I think continuity is huge. I don't like playing musical chairs, moving guys around a lot, experimenting. You'd like to have some answers in place before you only get so many reps. It's time and distance. So you like to be efficient, with their time, because they're only going to be on the field for so long. But I think those are the things that lead into it.
All right, Sammy right in front, and Jack.
Coach Sammy Jacobs from Hoosier Huddle. Have you had a chance to sit down with the offensive line, look at what you have, to build off of that question, look at what you have and kind of build a plan for spring practice?
Yeah, I've had been mostly on the road recruiting, so I haven't had a ton of time, but I've certainly met with my guys one-on-one. I've met with them as a group, but it hasn't been a ton. I've watched them on film. And so I've formulated some things. I don't think I've gotten to that point where, hey, it's day one spring ball, here's how we're lining up, here's the starting five, anything else like that. It's just really, right now I'm just trying to get to know the guys as much as I can. Once we come off the road, I think that'll really pick up, that'll really fast forward. But right now it's just, like, they have a voluntary day that they did yesterday on their own, and I was in there and I got a chance to just see them and after being gone all week. So that's really what it's been, it hasn't been too extensive, yeah.
All right, Jack on your left.
Hey, Coach. Jack Ankeny with SI Indiana. When you were hired, there's obviously already 3 freshmen that were committed. I guess when you were hired, was there any sort of process of having to re-recruit them, or were they all kind of on board when you were hired, and I guess what do you like about that freshman class?
Yeah, I didn't really have to recruit them much. I think Coach Allen, their relationship with Coach Allen was really strong, and I think so for me it was okay, sign on the dotted line, get out on the road, go see these guys. A couple of these guys already had official visits already, so it was me going out seeing them, and I had known some of those guys from before. And then the other ones, we had one coming on an official visit with his family, so that was really good to spend some time with them. But, I mean, Coach Allen did such a good job with those guys that there wasn't we didn't have to play that game.
All right, Mike, back and Mason.
Hey, Coach. Mike Schumann with the Daily Hoosier. When you start to get on the field with these guys in the spring, what are going to be kind of some of the non-negotiables for you? Like, what are the things that an offensive lineman has to do to be successful under you?
Love that word, non-negotiables. Yeah, I do use that word. I think a lot of this stuff is coach speak. As far as we're going to work hard, we're going to train hard, things like that. I'm a big rep guy. I'm a big guy that believes in like systematically feeling that you're working harder than somebody else by doing more and things like that. So I hope I can create this climate of, spending a lot of time on the field and getting a lot done, being really efficient, things like that. Technically, based on the schemes, there's always going to be those technical things that you say, hey, this is the way it's got to be, and the aiming points and the footwork and the landmarks and things like that. But, I think, just for me, just go fast forwarding, going, okay, day one, what is it going to look like? I think it's going to look high tempo, high energy. I'm not going to have a pom-pom out there or anything else like that. That's not my style, but, we're going to work hard.
Mason right in front.
Coach Mason Williams of Hoosier.com, you mentioned right there just kind of keeping with that up-tempo offense that Indiana had last year, getting to know the other coaches besides Coach Allen, with Bell, with all the other guys you're going to work with on offense. How has that relationship started to form so far, and how do you see that prospering forward?
Yeah, it's been great. Been working a lot with Walt Bell. We've tried to, the time that we've had in between, whether it's a recruiting week that we're all gone or there's a day here, we've tried to fill that in, come back, and spend some time kind of formulating the offense. And, I'm really in a learning stage right now of, okay, this is how we call it. This is the operation. So we have spent a lot of time already with that, and and then the other coaches, have been great about coming in and helping out. So it's been excellent.
Todd on your right, Tyler.
Coach Todd Golden with CNHI. Offensive line is such a unit that's built on continuity. How much has the portal changed the way you build an offensive line? Has it changed the turnover more so than it would have been otherwise?
Oh, no doubt. I mean, without a doubt. I mean, it's not even close. The days of, signing a class and then kind of watching them. That I don't know if there's many guys around left like me where you recruited a class, and then maybe you redshirted that class, and then you brought that class up and you started to, okay, I'm going to get some reps my freshman year, and then maybe if they're really good, they're playing substantially their sophomore year, and then by the time you got a junior or a senior, you got a really, really good players, and you got a really, really good line. Those days are gone. I don't know if there's many places that are going to be able to do something like that anymore. So now it's, and I'm still, my ideal plan would be I want high school guys. I want to have a chance to develop them. I want to have a chance to, teach them the things that, are important to our team. Is that possible to do? I don't know. We're going to try to do that with a recruiting plan and things like that. But there is always going to be that element right there, and it's definitely changed. You get a new guy in, and it takes time. It takes time for guys to get to know each other, guys to feel comfortable with each other, guys to trust each other. Especially when you're right next to somebody, and your job is depending on that guy as much, especially within the offensive line. So, I mean, to answer your question, yeah, it's going to be hard. I don't think there's a lot of programs left that can do it. We're going to try to do it.
All right, Tyler on your left.
Coach Tyler Tashman with the Indianapolis Star. I guess you touched on it a little bit, but how would you describe your coaching style? And I know you've coached in the NFL. Is there any things, I guess, just from working there just earlier in your career that kind of stick out of things you've learned that you feel like you can bring to IU?
Well, I mean, I feel like I've got a pretty good reputation for running the ball. I think we've got to be able to run the ball and those things. I think, working with this group right now and teaching these guys what I think are techniques and systems that work, that are sound, for guys that I'm not saying that we didn't have that before or anything else like that. I'm just going on what I've done before in the past, so I feel like, we can come in here and plug in a system from tackle to tackle and be a more effective unit, you know what I mean? And I think I've got a pretty good track record of that, a good chunk of experience with that, and we'll see how it goes. We got a lot to put together, as a staff and everybody else, as far as what are we going to be and who are we? I know last year there was a little bit of change there, or a huge change, and we're kind of right in the middle of that right now as a staff, saying, okay, what are we going to do? Who are we going to be?
All right, Matt Weaver, last one.
Hey, Coach, you talked about working with Coach Bell. Obviously, his system, excuse me, is up-tempo,
Yeah.
going fast. I know at Wisconsin that's not something you guys did a
Right.
lot, I guess. How does that change your approach when you start working with your guys, or is it just, you still coach them the same way and get them ready?
Yeah, I don't, I've always been a high-tempo coach, like on the practice field, like I talked about earlier, about getting a lot of reps and being super efficient and not wasting time and things like that. So I've always felt like I've coached in practice a high-tempo style, but then whether it's, you're getting in a huddle or you're not getting in a huddle, I don't know how that makes much of a difference, I think the biggest thing will be for guys is, if we are going to be that super fast pace, processing information and being able to, do the things that I want to do that we've done at a huddling and things like that, that little chunk of time from on the line of scrimmage to the snap of the ball, if that's going to be reduced, are we able to get all those things done? That'll be, to me, that'll be a big test, but I think it's necessary. I think you got to have those things, so we're going to find a way to get it done.
All right, thanks, Bob.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, guys.